He's actually playing some really good basketball. We go to Allie Clifton.
Exceptionally great basketball, in fact. Thanks so much, Keeter. Dead shot, they call him. He's dead shot with his arm, even when his vision is a little blurry. In fact, maybe Danny should stand under LeBron's chalk toss every game, because last time he found himself catching the chalk dust, he put up 20 points on 7 of 15 from the field, 4 of 9 from downtown, and what was a big win for the Purple and Gold in Houston on Saturday. Had him feeling so good, he even chose to bust out some dance moves. Can and will Mike Trudell get to the bottom of that before talking tonight's big Celtics-Laker matchup? Let's find out. Danny is with Mike.
All right, guys, thanks so much, and welcome to Boston. Danny Green, kind enough to join us for a little chat before the game here. And Danny, look, this will be your first Lakers-Celtics matchup. You know the history of the NBA. I just wondering what your thoughts are in participating in this one.
I'm excited, as usual, as always. Any opportunity to get a chance to step on the floor to have fun and take on a good ball club is always a fun time. But this rivalry's been going on for years. I've never been a part of it, but experience it, so this will be my first time. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting better as a group. I'm looking forward to getting everybody healthy. But I said this matchup is something that I've watched as a kid and heard about, throughout my years as a basketball fan and a player. So to be a part of it for the first time, so I'm looking forward to see what it brings to the table.
All right, so you guys take a day-to-day approach, I know, to the season, Danny, but you haven't lost to a Western road team since the opener. Cranked out 14 straight wins. Now you get on this little East Coast stretch where you see 4 straight Eastern Conference teams. What is the difference between Western teams you're going to play a couple times and then the Eastern teams where you come in for the first time you see them?
Well, it's a little easier when you're more familiar with the team that you play more than once or more than twice. A team that you don't see as often is a little hard to get familiar with them. But, everywhere you got to respect everybody, regardless of what coast or what conference they're in. Every team is a good team. The West, I feel, is particularly strong. The East is not as weak as everybody thinks it is. So there's some good organizations, some good clubs out here, and we got to put our best foot forward regardless of who we're playing. And these East Coast teams, I said, have been giving us some troubles here and there.
So Boston has some good wing depth, Danny, when you go from Tatum to Hayward to Brown. I just wonder what that's like for you guys matching up with that kind of a team. And you even specifically, if there's one guy in particular you think you spend more time on, or if you have to kind of go back and forth a bit.
As a coach's adjustment or a coach's call, but I just go out there and do my job best of my ability and guard whoever it is. But they do have a lot of threats, which makes them dangerous. They have some depth. Some guys that come off the bench, but we also have some pretty good depth as well. So that's going to help us as well. Whoever starts, whoever finishes the game, whoever comes off the bench can give us a boost, a lift, and can contain and contend those guys that are on that other end of the floor.
Last thing for you, Danny, you all good, packed for the weather and everything like that? I know you lived in Toronto last year, so.
For the most part, kind of prepared. I didn't bring my biggest jacket, but I brought a jacket. It's not as bad as I thought it would be. It's not as cold, but it is cold, and we still have half a road trip to go. But we're going to worry about tonight, and then hopefully stay warm tonight, and then we'll worry about the next cities when we get there.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you.
All right, guys, that's Danny Green. Let's go back to you in the studio.
We're getting closer to tip-off. The Garden, Jason Tatum is second on the Celtics, averaging 21 points per game when he's held under 18 points this season. Boston just 5-10. I like those odds. And next on Access, Anthony Davis said no to the Celtics.
He dedicated his life and ultimately lost it for the betterment of our community. Magic continuing, saying, "I proudly carry Dr. King's baton and encourage others to do the same. He once said, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, you have to keep moving forward." The great Bill Russell, "In my lifetime, Martin Luther King was a true American. He stood for all. Every day we should strive to follow his example." JaVale weighing in, saying, "Without MLK, I and my teammates alike wouldn't be able to play the game we play as freely, open, and equal as we do. Happy birthday, and thank you." Tough juice here at the Civil Rights Museum at the Lorraine Motel in Memphis, Tennessee. A great photo and shot. I'm sure you guys could expound on that in a couple minutes. Chris Paul here saying, "We must learn to live together as brothers, or we will perish together as fools." Tobias Harris, the Sixers, hero in my eyes. Simple. Ben Simmons, "The time is always right to do what is right." And finally, the NBA, saying NBA teams will wear custom Nike MLK Day warm-up shirts designed in collaboration with the NBPA MLK Foundation and Martin Luther King, saying, "We cannot walk alone." I know Big Game had something great to say, a great story. Of course, in Lake Show, D-Fish, I'm sure you as well have some thoughts.
Well, I mean, what I connect to the most in terms of Dr. King's life, what he represents is, how it really is possible for one person to change the world. And clearly there were other people as part of the movement, but his passion is what inspired the movement. And so for all of us, we often try to pass to other people that, you know, we need all of these resources to get things done. It's actually possible for each of us to do a lot to impact our community in a positive way. So just something I try to carry on a daily basis.
Yeah, probably one of the most, in addition to that, probably one of the most enrolling human beings in our time. You know, one speech could ignite a whole country. You know, what his message was about everybody just being the same. Everyone's God's children, and that's what I loved about him. I did one of my first book reports, 4th grade.
That's cool.
Dr. King, you know, to the library, had my little library card, and I was enrolled by his message as a young kid and throughout my life.
Appreciate you guys sharing that. And as Ali just showed on Twitter, I mean, the NBA has really done a great job of highlighting this day as two members of the NBA fraternity. What does that mean to you?
Well, for a long time, a day like today, a lot of people fought for this to be a national holiday. Oftentimes, people of color were still asked to go to work and have to really grind on a day like today. And a lot of people fought for an opportunity to rest and reflect on this day. It was finally became a national holiday. But I think as an athlete, we become accustomed to working on holidays. Yeah. You know, we enjoy the opportunity to inspire others when they're at home watching. So to have that opportunity, the way AD, Dwight Howard, other guys speak to it, it's special to be a part of that group.
You know what? I'm taking the day off, man.
Perfect way.
Nah, ditto
for sure. Well said. Tip-off minutes away here on Spectrum Sportsnet. Rajon Rondo has been cleared to play after missing the last 3 games. His last time in Boston, 17 points, 10 assists, and the buzzer beater. Last 5 games with a gluteus maximus contusion. He is set to make his return to the court in Boston. Frank Vogel says that he will be limited to 28 minutes. The Lakers have been playing well without him. Team is 4-1 in that span. In those victories, they're winning by an average of 17 points. Adding AD back to the lineup can only make the Lakers better. As the Lakers continue their 5-game Grammy road trip, they could not be more pleased about it. They currently have the best road record in the NBA at 18-3. The team has won 4 straight on the road and currently score the 4th most points in the league, while away from home at 115 per. Their road record through 21 games, tied for 2nd best in NBA history, trailing only the 71-72 Lakers. And for the 291st time in the regular season, we will see the classic East Coast versus West Coast rivalry take place. The Celtics hold the advantage all time, 160-130. The Lakers look to chip away at the overall series against the Celtics team that is currently 4th in the East. Boston is struggling. They've lost 3 straight games. In addition to seeing each other in the regular season hundreds of games, these two squads have faced off in the NBA Finals 12 times. That's the most often any two teams have met for the championship in all 4 major league sports. The Celtics may have won a bunch of games against the Lakers in the 1960s and some in the 70s, but since the 80s, the rivalry has been won by the Lakers. The purple and gold have the edge in each of the last 4 decades, even in the 2010s, when the Lakers really struggled for 7 of those years. So, James, the rivalry is always strong no matter what, but with both teams being very good, is it on the verge of being special again?
It's always special, and I think as these teams continue to get better and predicting that they will have an opportunity to win or make it to the finals, it will emerge again. I mean, you have older core fans like from my era, and then you have those from Fish's era. You got a newer, fresher, younger audience now, younger people, but those of us who are 60, you know, it always comes out.
And you know it's a big game when you know who's in the house, representing the purple gold.
You know it, baby. Snoop Dogg. You know it, baby. Lakers Celtics. You know.
He was there.
West Coast is the best coast.
That's nice. It's fun to have this rivalry back, though. Well, not back, but when both teams are good.
Yeah, I think it's different when both teams are good. Like James said, it's always going to be special. Of
course.
What it represents to so many families and fans of both teams. But when both teams are really good, I think the NBA overall is better. The New England fan base is really passionate about their team, but there are a lot of Lakers fans around this country as well. So it's always going to have a special place. But this decade looks like it's going to be, back up to that really high level where both teams are at the top of the standing.
Yeah, two newcomers to their respective franchises. Kemba Walker with the Boston Celtics, Anthony Davis with the Lakers, experiencing this rivalry for the first time. You wonder if they've been reading the news clips, kind of checking out stuff online and whatever the PR guys for the respective teams are handing out to them, just so they can get a feel for what they're kind of wading into. Because as you both know, this is not just an any day matchup. This is a big, big deal between two storied franchises. Number one,